안녕하세요. 호밀밭의 파수꾼 한번 낭송해 보도록 하겠습니다. 중간 부분인데요. 어, Where I want to start telling is the day I left Pansy Prep. Pansy Prep is the school that's in Town, Pennsylvania. You probably heard of it. You've probably seen the ads. Anyway, they advertise in about 1,000 magazines, always showing some hotshot guy on a horse jumping over a fence, like as if all you ever did at Pansy was play polo all the time. I never even once saw a horse anywhere near the place, and underneath the guy on the horse picture, it always says, since 1888, we have been molding boys into splendid, clear-thinking young men, strictly for the birds. They don't do any damn more molding at Pansy than they do at any other school. And I didn't know anybody there that was splendid and clear-thinking and all. Maybe two guys, if that many, and they probably came to Pansy that way. Anyway, it was the Saturday of the football game with Sexton Hall. The game with Sexton Hall was supposed to be a very big deal around Pansy. It was the last game of the year, and you were supposed to commit suicide or something if Old Pansy didn't win. I remember around 3 o'clock that afternoon, I was standing way the hell up on top of Thompson Hill, right next to this crazy cannon that was in the Revolutionary War and all. You could see the whole field from there, and you could see the two teams bashing each other all over the place. You couldn't see the grandstand too hot, but you could hear them all yelling deep and terrible on the Pansy side, because practically the whole school except me was there, and Scrawny and Faggy on the Sexton Hall side, because the visiting team hardly ever brought many people with them. There were never many girls at all at the football games. Only seniors were allowed to bring girls with them. It was a terrible school, no matter how you looked at it. I like to be somewhere at least where you can see a few girls around once in a while, as if they are only scratching their arms or blowing their noses or even just giggling or something. Old Selma Turner, she was a headmaster's daughter, showed up at the games quite often, but she wasn't exactly the type that drove me mad with desire. She was a pretty nice girl, though. I sat next to her once in the bus from Town, and we sort of struck up a conversation. I liked her. She had a big nose, and her nails were all beaten down and bleedy looking, and she had on those damn forces that point all over the place, but you felt sort of sorry for her. What I liked about her, she didn't give you a lot of horse manure about what a great guy her father was. She probably knew what a phony slop he was. The reason I was standing way up on Thompson Hill instead of down at the game was because I just got back from New York with the fencing team. I was the goddamn manager of the fencing team. Very big deal. We are gone into New York that morning for this fencing meet with the McBurney School. Only we didn't have the meat. I left all the foils and equipment and stuff on the goddamn subway. It wasn't all my fault. I had to keep getting up to look at this map, so we don't know where to get off. So we got back to Fancy around 2:30 instead of around dinner time. The whole team ostracized me the whole way back on the train. It was pretty funny in a way. The other reason I wasn't down at the game was because I was on my way to say goodbye to old Spencer, my history teacher. He had a grippy, and I figured I probably wouldn't see him again till Christmas vacation started. He wrote me this note saying he wanted to see me before I went home. He knew I wasn't coming back to Fancy. I forgot to tell you about that. They kicked me out. I wasn't supposed to come back after Christmas vacation on account of I was flunking for subject and not applying myself at all. They gave me frequent warning to start applying myself, especially around the midterms. When my parents came up for a conference with the old thermal, but I didn't do it, so I got an X. They give guys an X quite frequently at Pansy. It was a very good academic rating, Pansy. It really does. Anyway, it was December and all, and it was cold as a witch's teeth. Especially on top of that stupid hill. I only had on my reversible and no gloves or anything. The week before that, somebody'd stolen my camel's hair coat right out of my room with my fur-lined gloves right in the pocket and all. Pansy was full of crooks. Quite a few guys came from these very wealthy families, but it was full of crooks anyway. The more expensive a school is, the more crooks it has. I'm not kidding. Anyway, I kept standing next to that crazy cannon, looking down at the game of the freezing my ass off. Only I was watching the game too much. What I was really hanging around for, I was trying to feel some kind of a goodbye. I mean, I've left schools and places I didn't even even know I was leaving them. I hate that. I don't care if it's a sad goodbye or a bad goodbye. But when I leave a place, I like to know I'm leaving it. If you don't, you feel even worse.